Hello, Orville Nation. Hello, Steph.
Woo!
Hello,
Hey
Gapgate. Joe
guys.
Lau. Who else is in here tonight? Sport Gang, Gapgate, Stephanie. Oh, there's a lot of people. Supreme Heretic. Okay, guys. We have a very, very, very special
Hey
guest tonight.
everybody. Oh, hey, Simone. Sorry I'm late.
Let me introduce.
All good. I just love that all I'm seeing is this like orb of like you speaking.
We told them not to use the video. Yeah. Let me introduce our co-host real quick. We have meteorologist Katie. We have
Hi, everyone.
Raquel. We have Drew, and we have Elihu. And our very, very special guest tonight is someone who is practically sci-fi royalty.
Yeah.
She has been part of Stargate SG-1, The Outer Limits, Smallville, Battlestar Galactica, and much, much more.
Yeah.
Thank you, Simone Bailey, for joining us. Thank you.
Woohoo!
Reminding me of those
Awesome.
credits. That's awesome. Hi.
What a pleasure! What a pleasure! Now I'm gonna let the ladies go first, and I think the best thing to do is just to dive into some questions because we want to get to we want to really we want to really get into the conversation. So it's not my words are not coming out properly. So I'm just gonna go to Katie.
Alrighty. Sweet. Hi. So my first question, it might be a little bit of a heavy hitter for a first one, but who do you look up to?
Woohoo.
Who inspires you to be the best that you can be?
Oh, that's interesting. To be the best that I can be.
Because I went back and I was looking at all the people that I saw as mentors when I was growing up. I was really surprised. It's all the people that were on the list. It's really interesting to go back. So I was just wondering if you had anyone in particular that you really looked up to.
Oh, that's interesting. You know, it's tough to pick one person because obviously I love my parents so much, and my dad has been a real inspiration to me just because he traveled so much in his life and is so wise and so smart on multi levels. But I don't know. It is a really tough question because I could say Oprah because I find her to be like the ultimate humanitarian. I could say the Dalai Lama because I find him to be spiritually wise. And then a weird one that always surprised me, and I almost like hate to admit this, not that there's anything wrong with her, but like every time, because when I go to my parents' house, they still watch TV, and like I've cut the cord a while ago. So I just use streaming now. But every time I watch TV at my folks' house in Vancouver, they're like sometimes Kelly Ripa shows up and I'm like, God, that girl, she just has so much energy and she's just so positive and glowing and fit kids and like she's just like the superhuman to me. And she's funny and intelligent and she just like knows her job so well. Like hosting is actually very challenging and like her skill set is super tight. And so that's a kind of like surprise one that I don't know. I feel weird. But like every time I watch her, I'm like, oh my God, like I should be like her. Like just,
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I think people that truly inspire me now are sometimes the silent ones we don't hear from, or the people that are top of their field, or the people that are courageously rising from the ashes of adversity and challenge and things like that. I think like I can be anywhere in the world and just like, it could be a cashier at a grocery store or like someone cleaning or someone would like people that I see that they're still showing up when things are really tough. Because we've all had our set of life challenges, people pass away, animals pass away, our pets and, things like that. And times are tough. There's also like personal things that happen to people. And I think like that kind of strength is very admirable to me.
Aw, those were perfect answers.
Yeah, but I think like people that are kind and wise and intelligent, those people inspire me.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Long story long. There it is.
Go ahead, Raquel. Do you have a question for Simone?
Well, it's kind of not really a question so much as it is a statement. So your
Go
parents
ahead.
are living in
Excellent.
Vancouver, but you're no longer living in Calgary. However, as a Canadian, I get to say that you're from us. So, so you're living
Yes,
in
I was
LA
born
now.
in Calgary, Alberta, and then I was primarily raised in Vancouver, Canada, and then I lived 1 year in Toronto area, and then 1 year in Montreal.
Yeah, Canada, we're really super proud of you. Like PJ was saying earlier, you are science fiction royalty, and just really happy that you're Canadian and that you have gone out into the world and done such a sensational job with your career. So she belongs to us, Canada. All the Canadians watching. No, seriously, how do you like living in LA?
I love it. I mean, I've spent a lot of this long weekend because we just had President's Day long weekend, and I try to get outside as much as I can to catch the sunshine and just get into nature. I think it just helps with life these days.
Yeah.
And I love it here because I can go to intimate venues and see people that I look up to, like musician wise or DJ wise or whatever I'm into. And I can see some of the top performers like in my backyard, and it's really no big deal.
Yeah, more accessible.
It's just like, yeah, we're just locals, Yeah. And so you kind of get used to that kind of accessibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you coming back home often? Are you coming home to go skiing? Are you coming home to, holiday?
I wish I was going skiing. I primarily snowboard now, but I was
Nice.
as cool as my brother and my dad all snowboard as well. So we go as a posse. But
Nice.
I unfortunately haven't been snowboarding on the mountain for a bit. But I go back pretty much every Christmas. I go back to Vancouver, and then I really try to get back there every summer because summertime is the most beautiful time.
So who's your favorite hockey team then? I gotta know your favorite hockey team. Are you Flames all the way?
No, it's tricky. So I think this is my order, but I'm not. I was super into hockey, like a lot, because when I'm especially in Canada and Vancouver, like my parents and family all watch and everyone's like obsessed. But since I moved here, I kind of like strayed away. But I think my order would be Canucks, oddly, Avalanche.
Ooh.
I don't know why. I just always had a thing for Avalanche. And then probably Kings in third, and then the Flames.
Yeah.
But when certain ones are matched against each other, then it's tricky.
Yeah, it could be pretty intense up here in the pubs, everyone. If you were born in Calgary but raised in Vancouver, it's going to be pretty intense for poor Simone. Anyway, thank you so much for answering my initial questions. Does anybody else want to ask anything?
Yeah, let me just say, we read, for those of you just joining us, Simone has been in so much sci-fi. She's been in Stargate, Smallville, The Outer Limits, and Battlestar Galactica. And it just had occurred to me before we started the show that I mean, The Outer Limits, you must have been really, really young, right?
I was. And you know what? That was my first TV audition. And I had no idea, like coming from theater, I really had no idea like what I was really doing. I mean, I didn't know how to act, but it's a different medium doing film versus theater. Theater, obviously you're playing, to the person at the back, and you're projecting, and you're kind of like gesticulating and all this stuff. And film is kind of what they say, concentrated orange juice. You know, you basically like think the thought sometimes, and it can be conveyed. So yes, Outer Limits, I went in and it was a room packed full of people auditioning for the administrator, right? So I didn't have a name at that time. But, you know, it was like heavy competition, and you go in and like, I find often auditioning for smaller, like less lines. I don't want to say smaller roles, but it was a smaller role. Those are harder to do because you have to hit it. If you miss it on that one line or few lines, like it's over, baby, you know? But whereas like a guest star audition, you can kind of be like, you know, pick it back up. And I booked that audition for Outer Limits, and I was so excited. And you know what's so crazy is the director of that episode. So it was a fun episode because I don't know if you guys all remember the movie, The Blair Witch Project.
Oh yeah. That's one of my favorites.
Heather Donahue, who was the runny nose like lead of Blair Witch Project, she was the big guest star in my episode, or the episode I was in, of Outer Limits, called The Surrogate. And it was a big deal to me. You know, it was my first thing. And cut 2 years down the road, I get on Stargate. And I'm on the lot of Stargate, and I see the director from Outer Limits all these years later. And I go, Ken, I said, Simone Bailey, you might not remember me. I just want to say you gave me my first TV role on your episode of The Outer Limits, and it meant so much to me because I remember walking into a room full of people auditioning, and I thought, there's no way I'm going to get this. And the fact that you hired me meant so much. And I just want you to know that here I am now on my third season recurring on Stargate. And, you know, it's all because of you. You know, I basically said, he's like, oh my God, thank you so much. You totally just made my day. And, you know, it's just kind of cool how, like, it goes full circle.
Who was that, Simone? Kenneth who?
Ken Jiraki.
Ken Jiraki, okay.
Aw,
Nice.
that's so awesome.
Yeah, that was super, super cool for me to
Wow.
have that moment. And I think it's always good in life to tell those people that, you know, thank you for your help and believing in me and all that stuff.
And forgive me, Simone, I forgot to when I introduced Drew, I forgot to introduce that he writes for Bounding Into Comics. So Bounding Into Comics, go ahead. It's your turn.
Yeah, so you know, before the stream started, guys, it was funny. We were talking kind of about the Pegasus Actual podcast on Thursdays, and you know, I wanted to ask Simone. I know you had mentioned that you had a story about you know, your time working on Battlestar Galactica. So so take it away, because we're dying to hear it.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I've ever told this story on an interview before, but I'm going to drop it for you guys right now. So I have told this part. So I was a fan of Battlestar Galactica, and before I got the role that I did, which was I booked the finale of the series finale, and it was a two-part, you know, Daybreak part.
Yeah, Daybreak 1 and 2.
And so in the audition, you know, the character eats a match, right? Which means you put a match out in your mouth while it's lit. And so I taught myself how to do that. I did it.
Whoa.
I taught myself, like, my big resource is YouTube. So I try to learn whatever I can, you know, because you have a very small window of time before you have to turn around and do the audition. And it was a director session. So Michael Reimer was directing the finale, and he's like a big, awesome, you know, director who I look up to.
Yeah, it does good work.
In the audition, I ate the match, and he was like, after I did it, he was like, how did you do that? And I'm thinking to myself, no other girl came in and did it? Probably on two of looking for the girl who's going to play this role. And he goes, how did you do that? I said, well, I watched a YouTube video and I practiced and taught myself how to do it. And he's like, that's amazing. And anyway, I booked the role. And so when I got the call, I remember I was driving at the time, and my agent phoned me, and she said, "Simone, you booked Battlestar." And I had to pull over and cry because I was so excited.
Yeah.
I just loved the show, and I had already gone out for, I think I went out for, I don't know if it was Baltar's lawyer or somebody's lawyer. Like I went out for one of those lawyers in the show and didn't get it. And like there was some that I was like, they got away. And so I was so excited I finally got this part. So I get to set, and we are filming in this gorgeous mansion that's overlooking the water, and it is just the most beautiful house you've ever seen. And
Whoa.
there I am with like the two leads, I look up to so much, Trisha Helfer and James Callis. And James Callis is just the classiest guy ever, and he just smells amazing. Like about him. And it's so funny because I'm not typically into older men, but like there was something so attractive about him. I think because of his stature and just how much of a gentleman he was with me and everything like that. So they were pretty free on some of the takes. And I was playing his lady of the evening. And at one point, in one of the takes, he just laid one on me, and we were making out on camera. And I was so inside as the actress, I was like, oh my God, it's really happening. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting paid for this. And
oh my God, I'm getting paid for this.
And so like he didn't tell me he was going to lay one on me. He just went for it. And,
wow.
I'm a character, so whatever, I, go for it. And it was just so hot. And it was only that one take, and they never used it. But I remember at the end of the day, I was driving home, and I could just smell James Callis's cologne on my neck. And I was just like,
damn it, yeah.
Somewhere that footage exists, and I'm sure if you dig far enough, you can find it.
Well, you know what's funny? She told that story, and I guarantee you, there's like just dozens of female PSG fans that are jealous right now because they're like, oh my gosh.
But the thing that also heightened it was the fact that Trisha is sitting right there. So it's like I felt in that moment like he had chosen me over her, kind of, you know what I mean? Like so it kind of like elevated the whole thing. Like it was just like this.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Plus, like I was a super fangirl at the time of the show, so yeah.
Oh yeah.
Makes me hot just thinking about it. Anyway.
No, that's a great story.
Awesome. And I did get to work with him again on Blood and Treasure, and I've dined with his wife and children, and so yeah, he's a solid guy. That was all in character. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's such a good story.
I know, that is such an awesome story. I love it.
You guys are the first to hear that story.
Oh man!
Wow.
Orville Nation exclusive.
Yeah, Simone, that is.
We feel very privileged. Very privileged. I am going to go ahead and read, if you guys permit me. Elihu's having a problem, and he decided just it'd be better for him to step out for the time being. So he's asked to please excuse him, but I'm going to read one of his questions. So a lot of girls grow up wanting to be an actress. When did you know? When did you start acting, and when did you know you wanted to be an actress, Simone?
I think for me, I was always a ham. Like I always wanted to perform, and I think that the big one for me was seeing the movie Grease. And once I saw that movie, the original Grease.
Can you repeat that? What movie was it?
The movie Grease with Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta. I loved it so much because it was so energetic and fun, and you know, singing and dancing and acting, and I love that so much, and I would play it over and over again. And I always loved to express myself as a kid. Sometimes, like, I look back and it's kind of embarrassing. Like, one thing I used to do as a little girl is I'd put on my one-piece bathing suit, my red one, and then the matching red cardigan, and then I'd have a red ribbon. And for some inexplicable reason, I would put on Japanese Kitaro music, and it was all like pan flute and weird. And I would just like do my ribbon dance, and then like later in life, when my parents had friends over, I would take things out of the fridge and, you know, do a whole skit, you know, using props and things like that. And then I got into theater plays, you know, did a couple in elementary school, and then got into high school musicals and choirs and things like that. And then actually auditioned to get into a university program to major in acting.
Now, you were also very young when you were in. I mean, you looked very young in Stargate.
Yeah.
As well.
I know. I miss the size of my waist back then. Yeah. It was.
Oh, you look great. You look fantastic.
You do.
Yeah.
You just run in the high council.
Yeah, that was cool too. Yeah, because when I started, I was, you know, you saw me on Hacktill, the planet where it was an all-female warrior woman, you know, race or inhabitants, and then later on, I ended up on the High Council, which was pretty cool. I was like repping my people.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Katie, go ahead, Katie. Sorry.
Oh, cool.
I'm trying to figure something. I'm trying to figure something out for Elihu. Go ahead, Katie.
Okay. So I was wondering. We've seen pictures of your cosplay, which is incredible. You're Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. Awesome. And I was wondering, what was your first cosplay? What got you into cosplay?
Well, Katie, I got to tell you something.
Yeah?
I was born to cosplay because guess what day my birthday is?
No way. Is it Halloween? Oh my gosh, you lucky duck.
I was born on Halloween, which some people tell me makes me an honorary goth, and I don't have to wear black lipstick or nail. It's kind of a weird someone told me. But I have always loved dress up. And so, you know, kind of to further answer your question, PJ, that was the gateway for me, was dressing up. Yeah, so there I am as Wizard of Oz. And it's so funny. So that dog, Toto.
Yeah.
I think it was after I did that, for some reason, everywhere I went, I kept hearing the song Africa by Toto. And it was such a weird, like, I could be anywhere, in the grocery store, in the change room, in the Uber, in the, you know, whatever. And I would just nonstop hear Africa by Toto. And so as a joke, I grabbed my dog.
Oh my gosh!
And it kind of looked like Alf. You know, Alf?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So I called it Alfrica. And I had it out as a joke because I was like, this is so ridiculous that everywhere I go, all I hear is Africa. That I brought the dog out as a joke and kind of kept it on my couch, and then now it kind of is a permanent
that is so
dog
awesome.
on my couch. It's kind of like my emotional support mangy dog. But yeah, so what was the question?
Oh, I was just wondering how you got into cosplay and what your first one was.
Okay, so I always loved dressing up, and I personally own tons and tons of wigs, tons and tons of shoes, costumes. And the thing with me is, because my birthday's Halloween, I typically like to have minimum 2 costumes per Halloween. So sometimes I'll do 3 because I don't love wearing the same thing again, you know, in case you're partying and sweating, or I don't know what. But I also
you have to change. It's like halftime.
Yeah. And so I have been, so my cosplay is more Halloween based on my birthday, but also I've always been lucky to have a lot of really fun friends. So when I was in university, my first year of university, I went to York University, which is outside of Toronto, and I was in an all arts residence. And we created 30 people of us, like guys and girls, mainly guys, created a fake fraternity because we're kind of like, and the fake fraternity's name was Alpha Q. Alpha Q. Alpha. Anyway, so, so our thing was every month we would all get together, all 30 of us, and it would be a different theme. So we would have like robot theme. And so everyone would just have to make whatever out of cardboard, kind of do whatever. And then the next month it would be rock star, you know. And so like the girls would be the groupies and the guys would be the big hair guys. And then when I moved to LA, there's another group of friends I have where about 4 of them have the same birthdays in September. And they call themselves the September babies. And so their parties would always be color parties. So my very first color party, the color that year was pink. Well, of course, I nailed the pink year. So I had so much pink. It was like crazy. And I won the costume award for that.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, you know, much like you guys, I'm sure when you go to Star Wars, you dress up and you kind of like, you know, have fun doing that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah,
it's fun, like going to Comic-Cons and seeing people dress up. Like, that's really cool.
Oh, yeah. No, actually, that was actually a question I had. Since you've been to so many comic book conventions and Comic-Cons and stuff, what are some memorable cosplays that you've seen other people do?
Well, I think my favorite one that I saw at Comic-Con, I think I've only been to Comic-Con once officially.
Yeah?
No, that's not true. Twice.
There you go.
Yeah. I've been to lots of different like cons, but yeah. That one I loved. I saw someone as a centaur, and I think it was just something that's so hilarious is just how big it is and how long it was, and the costume, and you're like, how do they do that? Like, that's kind of funny. I remember that year, it was the year, well, one of the years was Sucker Punch had just come out, so it was like 30 baby dolls, like really, you know, blonde cutie girl, and then 60 slave girl Leia's. Like, it was just like it was in the zeitgeist that all the girls wanted to do the sexy this and the sexy that, But I always like the funny ones.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually going to my first ever convention next month. I get to cover the Wizard World Comic-Con that's coming here to Cleveland, and I'm kind of excited. I'm nervous, excited,
totally excited.
Maybe a little scared.
You should be. That's a healthy amount of fear.
Have a little scared. It's fine. You'll be great. Are you going to dress up or anything?
Well, because I'm actually going in a professional capacity, probably not. But I would love to. I would totally love to.
You can totally be professional and wear a uniform. I am the living example of that.
Actually, you could go as a newsboy. Why don't you go as a journalist?
There you go, anchorman.
Get the tweed coat out and get out the Oxford shoes, right?
Oh, there you go.
Totally.
Right,
and then I like playing at true Comic-Con though is because there's so many huge celebrities that go there. And they want to be in disguise because obviously they don't want to get mobbed.
Yeah.
And so I like to play who is that. So typically they won't go full on. Like they'll be in, normal like Hollywood hipster clothes, and then they'll just wear a mask. But you can tell by their body, like they're in incredible shape. You're like, okay, that's someone so famous right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they'll try to like, play like they can get away with it, but I'm like, come on, dude.
I'll tell you who had the best disguise for a Comic-Con that I've seen. It was a GalaxyCon. It was Walter Koenig from, I think I'm saying his last name right, from Star Trek, the original series. He wore nothing, And it was incredible because I'm sitting behind him and I'm like looking around trying to see what's merchandise is in front of him. He turns around, he looks at me, and he just walks away. I'm like, oh my gosh. And he looked at the shopkeep and I'm like, was that? And she's just like, yeah, it was. I'm like, I had no idea. It was I'm looking forward to seeing who I can peek out now at comic book conventions because I'm going in 2 weeks to Chicago for C2E2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm so psyched. I'm going to meet Adam Savage, and I'm like, he goes full on cosplay, so that'll be a fun one.
See, I'm a big gaming geek. I think my dream event would be probably E3.
Yeah. I hear an echo.
Yeah, there's a little bit of echo, Drew.
I don't know.
Do we have another question from Canada, Raquel?
Yeah, sure. There's some mega lag.
I want her to like wave the, like, here, over here.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm a pretty intense Stargate fan, so I have some questions for you that pertain to that. So here's one of my questions. Pretend for a second that all of the characters who you have played are real. Now, who would you hang out with, and who would you avoid, and why? Oh, right? Right? Who did you hate?
I think I would avoid. So one of my first regular roles on a series was a Canadian series called Da Vinci's City Hall. And the character I played was based on a real life cop. And she's still around. I'm always like waiting for her to just like attack me because I don't know what her real name is or anything like that or who this girl is. But and she was a leader of a gang of renegade cops and of these like all female cops. And so her thing that she loved to do was go into these grow ops and like beat the shit out of the gross grow op sitters and just toss the place and then take Polaroids. And like, I think how she got found out was like they accidentally like left a Polaroid or something like that when they were there. So she would be someone that I would avoid.
Yeah.
No, very nice.
Truly evil, like bad to the bone.
Yeah. And
who would you invite over for wine? Who are you having wine with?
I think Grace, who I played in The L Word, because she seemed to be pretty cool, hippie-hearted, very progressive, open-minded, and just very kind of sexually arrived. I don't know. She's, pretty solid. Yeah. And then there's one that I'd be kind of unsure about, and that's the most recent one I did, Jessica Wong on Blood and Treasure. So she's a Chinese billionaire, self-made billionaire. And it'd be cool to hang out with her because of her money, but she's pretty evil. So
fly on the wall kind of feeling, right? Yeah. Fly on the wall kind of feeling, like you'd like to see how she lived, but then she's also kind of evil.
Yeah, like I kind of want to get the selfie on the jet, but then it's like, is it worth really, like, you know what I mean? So
yeah. Okay, so what's your dream role?
I was thinking about that because people always ask, and it's really tough because I really do love comedy, and I've done a bit of comedy, but not as much as I'd like to do. I love doing action because you can't fake it. You really are doing it. And I like drama because of the weight of it. So for me, I was thinking, what'd be cool would be to be in a huge movie franchise like Fast and Furious, like if I was the Michelle Rodriguez, so I could be all those things, dramatic, comedic, and action.
Yeah.
And that way you have time to prep. And, features are awesome because you can have tons and tons of takes. Like, here's something that you guys might not know. when we were acting on Stargate, often you'd get one take.
Oh,
Like, you had one take, and it's like I would do my thing, and then be like, "All right, moving on." I was like, "Are you sure you got it?" Like, you know.
You don't want an extra just in case?
Yeah, like maybe you might get 3 takes, but I think because the show is so I was gonna say sci-fi heavy, effects heavy, that, and there's also, if you watch Stargate, there's just so many different setups and locations. So every time they have to move to a different hallway or room or whatever, that's a whole different lighting setup, and it's that eats up your day. So I think that's why they had to move very quickly on a lot of the coverage of the actors. So fortunately, I was always nervous when they only did 1 take, because I'm like, are you sure you don't want another for safety? Because typically you do that, like, just in case.
Yeah.
well, you worked with a lot of really famous people, so I was wondering, what
I know,
what
but
were
I wasn't famous at the time. I was just like, I was still like in the beginning. God, when did I start with those guys?
2006, 2007.
03?
I have it down as 2006, Simone.
It's 2003.
2003.
Birthright.
Yeah. So yes, correct. In season 7, and then I worked with them, I think, till 2006. Yeah, and so in the beginning, like, I was still learning, So
Yeah. Well, what were they like between takes? Like, what was Richard Dean Anderson? What was everyone like between takes?
Well, he's funny because he's got the driest sense of
He
humor.
does.
So he can just make you laugh by saying anything, and you never sometimes know if he's being serious or joking, but you kind of always think like there's levity there. I think the person who I feel like I worked the most with was Christopher Judge. And I think he also, maybe I felt like I worked the most with him because in between takes he would hang out with me the most, because he had written the first 2 episodes I was in, created me. So I think we just had that bond through that. But he is an incredible jokester. And when we did the High Council scenes, we were in this studio that was like a tin box. It was very hot, and he would like flash me his underwear in between takes. Like, I mean, not in a Me Too way.
No.
No, I'm like, look at this. And I was just like, oh my god. So yeah, I don't know. Everyone's pretty jovial and fun.
So what's your favorite? What's your favorite Christopher hair? Is it bald? Is it natural? Or when he had his hair straight?
It's funny because when I was recently watching Stargate episodes just to refresh, you do see that hair change, and yeah, I think the bald.
Yeah, I'm hot for him when he's bald. He looks so good bald. Yeah, hot stuff.
What was it
I
like
saw him
working with?
actually recently. He took me out to lunch. He's a very nice guy.
And a good writer.
Yeah, really good. He was right. It was right before he was going to film his video game. So, yeah. It's great.
Yeah, he was an awesome Kratos.
Yeah.
Simone, what was it like working with Jolene Blaylock?
Well, I remember when I first saw her, because she was from Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah.
I was really in awe of her just because of her beauty. Like, I just remember thinking like, oh my God, she's like blonde Angelina Jolie, like, is what I thought at the time.
Yeah.
And I just loved the way they styled her. And, I think when I'm acting in things, I try to endow whatever my character feels in the way that Simone should feel about, like, so I kind of looked up to her because I wanted to feel that.
Yeah.
Like, as if I was her, supporter, and she was my leader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, she was great.
So if you could have played any other part, in Stargate, which part did you covet? Which part would you be like, oh, I wish I could have done that. I might have done this. I might have done that.
Well, I think it would be the love child of, because I think well, not in the eyebrow way, but like in the I love Teal'c's role because he had such longevity, and I think there was a trivia question at one of the cons, and it was like, which actor had the most episodes? And he had the most.
Yeah.
Of anyone. So right there, the residuals, I mean, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, you got to think of the money.
From a financial perspective.
Yeah.
No, but, also, I just thought his character is so great because he can do a lot with saying very little sometimes. Like sometimes you just say indeed, and that would be, it would just put the button on the scene. So I think his character is super awesome because, again, he gets to do the comedy, the action, and the drama, which is, the triple that I love. And then the other character that I liked was Hathor, because she was sexy. So I think, I like to do the sexy stuff. I've done the very not sexy stuff, and I always prefer the sexy to the not sexier. But that's just me. So yeah, the love child of Teal'c and Hathor, even though that doesn't make sense. But
no, it totally makes sense. It totally makes sense. I get it. I completely agree.
Yeah. Like Kal-El, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about that name though, too? Like the name they gave you the name of Superman, Kal-El.
Yeah.
Thank you, that was pretty interesting. Yeah. Go ahead, Drew. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say we could fit the connection into our headcanon.
Now, I actually have a question because of all like the Stargate and all the space and sci-fi in your career. If you were given the chance, would you go to space?
No.
Yeah.
And I know that's a controversial answer because.
How dare you?
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys remember going to the amusement park in the beginning and someone convinced you to go into the Gravitron? Worst mistake of your life. You're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, get me out of here. That is the worst feeling in the world. Why would I want to take a really long trip, have to pee in a tube, have motion sickness, possibly die,
wear a diaper
there, and I just don't think space is my jam. I like fake space more than space. I'm more.
I like fake space.
She's like, fake space is cool.
What's that?
I was like, yeah. He said fake space is cool.
Yeah, fake space is awesome. Like fake gun use is great. Real gun use,
not too much.
Fake phasers any day.
But I'm more of a like turquoise water, beachy kind of gal.
Yeah.
Nice.
To put it simply.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to burst your bubble.
No, I don't blame you, because
we need people to stay on Earth.
Right? Where you grew up, it's like, it's so beautiful. It's so otherworldly. People come from all over the world to go to Calgary, and then people come all over the world to go to Vancouver. I mean, this is a woman who grew up around beautiful water, crystal clear water, mountains all around her. So I totally get it.
I'm good.
Yeah, we're very flat here in Iowa. Very flat, but good for tornadoes. But no one comes to see them.
So, just like off the wall question, Simone, what's your favorite franchise in the horror genre?
Ooh. Horror?
Good question.
Yeah, are you a Friday the 13th girl? Are you a Halloween person? Are you a Hellraiser person?
Definitely a Halloween person.
What I loved when I first saw it was old school Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh,
wow.
I thought that was so ridiculous and funny and horrifying and all of that. And I was like, what am I even watching right now? Like, you almost have to watch it again. It's so crazy. And then, like, subsequent ones, you're just like, what is going on? This is ridiculous.
Isn't the Texas
We had to
Chainsaw
watch that
Massacre
in
based
my
on
I had a
true
college
events?
class.
I think it was loosely based, Raquel.
Yeah.
On
Super scary.
I will tell you this. I was cast in Freddy versus Jason.
I love that movie.
My stuff didn't make it. But
Dang.
I was supposed to be a one of the camp kid like victims. And
those are fun roles.
there, yeah. Well, listen. So,
Oh.
every one of us had a different like gruesome like thing done to us. So mine was like the Cheshire Smile, right, where they slit. You know, they had blood. You know, they just like let the blood like burn, and they had like pinned us. I mean, fake, but you know, pinned us to a tree, and what we were supposed to do is morph like face into face into face. Da, da, da. So in real life, I'm in a forest, and there really is Freddy, and then there really is Jason, and it's foggy, and it is real.
Oh my god!
So horror is sometimes the craziest to be in because it feels pretty real, and it's scary. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I don't love that.
You know, no,
especially when it's the real Freddy and the real Jason. You know what I mean? It's just like this is like top of the line. Yeah.
I got it. You know, that brings back memories because, you know, I always talk with my friends here about. I worked 13 years in the haunted attraction industry. You know, as an actor and also doing like makeup and other stuff behind the scenes. And I know sometimes, man, especially when you use stage blood and stuff like that, man, if you have to be, you know, have it on you for a long time, oh man, it just feels nasty.
You know what I had to endure? I was in a very low budge feature called Bong of the Dead, right? So it was
incredible.
I was the female zombie killer, and in the final scene, well, not the final scene, but in the big like zombie final scene, we went through 800 gallons of fake blood, and I got fire with fake blood. And at the time, I used to wear contact lenses, and I didn't realize this, but the director's like, "Oh my god, it's so cool! You've got this like ring of red around the fake blood," and he goes, "It's awesome! It looks so great on camera." And I'm like shivering in the cold, and I'm wearing like, you know, fishnets and little shorts.
Oh man!
Top, like trying to make it look like, you know.
Please tell me they subsequently used the fire hose to clean off all that blood.
They sent us to the showers on location.
Yeah.
At least they did that for you. I was an extra on Chicago Med, and this was one of my first times being an extra, and it's really fun. But I was playing a person who was dying but slower than other people for a triage thing, and they just covered me in blood. They spent like 14 hours in makeup, and then they just said, "Okay, go home." And I had to get into my dorm room covered in blood, past my DA and my RA. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. I mean, they knew I was going to Chicago. They're going to think something was wrong. And so I like flip up my hood.
I had actually been filming and was covered in blood. And then I stopped for gas on the way, forgetting for me. But the sick thing is the gas attendant didn't even flinch.
Whoa!
I could have been, you know, bludgeoned, or like just murdered someone. Who knows what it looked like? You know what I mean? But yeah.
I was say, leave that neighborhood in quickly, because apparently that happens a lot.
Well, no, the funny thing is, like, you know, we would use like a lot of like gore effects and stuff behind the scenes at the haunted attraction. So we would, a lot of us immediately afterwards when we closed, we would be hungry after the last group went through. So everybody just be like ready to jump in our cars, and we'd go down to the diner and, get like late night breakfast food, right? And, we're walking in and we're covered in like fake blood, or we've got like really gruesome makeup on. And it's just like, man, the looks we would get.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, they'd be like, welcome to Denny's. What can I get for you?
That's the real nightmare right there.
Katie.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, no, I would sometimes, because I went to my first convention was in Chicago. It was a Star Trek one, and there were people dressed in full Klingon garb, and we walked down the street to get some pizza behind them, and I swear they almost caused a car accident. People were like, "What?" And that's one of my favorite things about cons is when normal people attend, and they just kind of see a little glimpse into the world of science fiction.
Oh,
Simone, I wanted to ask you about Blood and Treasure. Now, is this an ongoing role for you, or?
No, it was a 1-episode guest star. So yeah, awesome. It was a lot of fun. I got flown out to Montreal and was filming in a $10 million mansion, and the owners of the mansion became friends with me while I was filming, and they're like, we're selling our mansion, but anytime you want to come by, please just drop in. You don't even have to phone. I was like, what? Like, you guys just really have an open door policy for me because I'm the actress in this thing? Like, you don't know me, but
take them up on it.
So
call them on it, and just like show up one day and see if they'll let you in.
Yeah.
So Simone, there was no chance of this character reappearing?
I mean, anything can always happen, but I know, second season is a whole other thing happening. So yeah, they're in Thailand right now.
Oh, ooh, Thailand.
And my stuff was England. So like it kind of goes all over.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have an empty chair there. Raquel, go ahead.
Well, I think I already know the answer to this. You're a Canadian lady. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I think everybody at home wants to know. Can you please describe your perfect Sunday? Are you at the beach?
Oh, I think there's a few components to a perfect Sunday for me. One is sleeping in. Because I like, having a slow roll Sunday, wake up and have my coffee. I think maybe a 2-hour massage wouldn't be the worst thing. I think getting some nice sunshine, so a walk on the beach or something like that. I always love good music, so maybe a performance or I love also those days where you just go and explore and you're just open to whatever happening. You have a happy accent. You're like, oh wow, this is happening. So like maybe, I don't know, concert, good food, good brunch, good dinner, and then seeing the sunset. I love a beautiful sunset. That always makes me happy. I feel like we don't get to see as many sunsets as we should these days.
Yeah.
Now, along with that, what being my job title, meteorologist, pointing at it, what is your ideal kind of weather?
It's pretty good in LA right now. Don't ask me the temperature because I don't know. You probably would know more than me. But it's sunny and clear, blue sky, and once in a while a light breeze. So it's not like hot. You're starting to, need SPF, but I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simone, I
That
have
is
a, I have
very
a,
different from that.
oh, sorry. I have a two-part question
Oh, no,
here
you
from Elihu.
Yes.
Have you, and you don't have to name it. You shouldn't name the productions, says Elihu. Have you ever taken a souvenir from the set without permission? Is the first part of the question.
I was raised by my dad that the lowest thing a person can do is steal. And he taught me that when I was a little girl and I really wanted butterfly stickers from a store, and he's like, no, put that back. And and he was like, we don't do that. And so I was raised well, but I inadvertently wore, I did not know I did this, but when I was on the L Word, sometimes it's hard. You have really long days filming and then you go home, and I was just wearing these little stud earrings. So I still have those. And I think I asked, like, hey, do you guys want these back? They're like, no, our wardrobe budget is millions. Don't worry about those stupid earrings. And then I was given the green dress from Blood and Treasure. It's like a silk pleated dress that's worth $100. So that was really nice. And then they also gave me my high heels. But it's very poor form to steal from a production, just mainly because of continuity. Sometimes, yeah, they do have duplicates of things, but it's really important for wardrobe to have, or whatever, props, whatever, to have all those things archived, because you never know when it will get revisited. And also just good form not to.
So it's this green dress, right?
Yeah, I own that.
You rocked that dress.
Nice.
Thanks.
That dress did not wear you. You wore that dress.
Thank you. Yeah, it's beautiful. I remember it was really tough, though. I couldn't sit down properly. Like, I couldn't sit on the dress. I had to always like swoop it and like basically bare bum it.
Yeah.
Like,
so you didn't pleat it or wrinkle it.
That sounds really gross. I mean, I'm sure there was something, a blanket I was sitting on, but yeah, because you didn't want to like ruin the pleats.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And being a billionaire, as you do, you want to be perfect.
Yeah. Alex,
and Elihu asked the second part of the question. Have you ever been involved in some kind of practical joke on set?
I vaguely recall, sometimes there's like file folders on sets, and I think, back in the day, you would not even dare try it these days, just with the political climate, but people putting like porn, like, so you open the folder and straight face and like things that should be seen. I remember a funny, it's not quite a practical joke, but when I was filming Stargate, there was the last episode I did, Stronghold, season 9. Peter DeLuise was directing, and he had some background performers, and once in a while you need those reaction shots. So he had these extras that were doing the High Council. They were High Council members, and he just needed their reaction to what was going on. And so the way he directed them was, all right. And so imagine like there's 2 or 3 background performers, and he'd be like, all right, okay, now, and he's talking them through the direction. All right, now, okay. Oh, wow, somebody farted. So you smell the fart, and you look over at your partner. Was it you? And then you kind of look up and down. Yes, it was you. And then he's like, and then you kind of grade the fart, you think about it, and then you go, oh no, like, or something like that. This whole thing where it was just so funny, because you'd never know by watching the show that, that's the way he directed them. But that was silly.
And let me just ask you, what was it like working with DeLuise and Brad Wright and that whole gang? I mean, that's an amazing group of people to work with.
I don't remember coming into a ton of contact with Brad Wright, because I think he, was pretty top of the chain and very, very busy. I know showrunners and creators be like that. Peter DeLuise always had me in stitches. He's just the coolest and funniest. And he's really, really smart. He knows how to film effects shots so well. I was so fortunate that after Stargate, I got an audition for a short film. And it was a kind of film noir comedy called The Bar. And Peter DeLuise was acting in it, and he was the star of it, and they were looking for his opposite. And I went in, and it was very like stylized, my name's Adelaide, like that kind of stuff. So I went in and I did this whole thing, and I was one of the first girls in at the audition. And my buddy who wrote it, it was an award-winning short. They were, seeing all these girls, and he told me after, he goes, as soon as you came in, you nailed the style. You knew exactly, like it was exactly how I pictured it, and it was like, yep, it's Simone. Okay, next girl, yep, no, it's still Simone. It's still Simone, and so I did get the part. And so I got to we did this short film in basically a weekend, and I got to act opposite Peter DeLuise, which was super
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, and you can see that film on YouTube.
What was the title again? I'm sorry,
The
Simone?
Bar.
The Bar.
Yeah, directed by Mike Jackson. Not Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say it, but I think I need to head out. We have some wind chill advisories I'm going to have to get up early to forecast for. I go into work at like 2 or 3 in the morning, so this is my bedtime. I'm on the same schedule as the 90 and over bowling league, if that's any indication. But no, I thank you for having me on, guys. I hate to leave, but for my sanity, I need to get some sleep.
Well, it was very nice meeting you, Katie. All the best.
It was wonderful meeting you too. And hey, if you ever change your mind about going to space, or if you want to do something a little less extreme and chase tornadoes, let me know.
Can I bring Alfrica?
Absolutely. Bring the whole cosplay. We'll have a better chance of having a tornado.
Oh my God. Me chasing a tornado in my Dorothy outfit.
That needs to happen.
That would be hysterical.
Fine.
Yes. We'll just take a bicycle and throw it into the tornado and watch. It'll be like a whole mini film. But yes, well, thanks for having me on again, PJ. Thank you,
Thanks,
guys
Katie.
all.
Yeah, I
And
know
thank you,
I know you gotta go. That's okay.
Have a great night, guys.
Katie,
Good
it's always
night.
awesome seeing you. Take it easy.
Take care.
Thanks.
Actually,
Bye.
Bye, Katie. That's a good segment, and maybe we can see some of the other pictures that Simone has shared about her cosplay. I will. Is that okay, Simone?
It is fine. Yes.
Okay. I will post and you can talk us through some of these. Very diverse, I gotta say.
Yeah. Simone, you were awesome. You were like one of the most fun people that I've ever had the opportunity to interview.
Oh, thank you so much.
And you guys in the chat, you're going to be blown away because Simone just doesn't. She's not afraid of trying anything with these cosplays. You're going to see. This is very classic one. This is nice.
Oh, that is
So good.
That is good. That is really
Okay, I
good.
gotta admit on that one, that is a cheat because that is truly Carrie Fisher with my face superimposed, and I had that done at Disneyland.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
That's a cheat, but I have done Leia before, but my buns were not as big as hers.
So this is a cheat, really?
That truly is a screen grab from the real.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay.
That
You
is
can
my-
tell. You can tell
okay.
because of the Death Star background.
Oh yeah, that lighting is fierce.
Let's see. Which one is this one, Simone? So what is this? Tell us. Let's see. Which is this?
What's this? Yeah. So that was May the 4th be with you, and I went to Star Wars movie or something like that. And I was in my leggings. I was at the time an ambassador for this awesome legging company out of Australia, and they make these really cool leggings. And so those are my
cool, yeah.
Han Solo leggings. And then I've got my Leia buns, as you can see. And I was on my way to the movie.
Star Wars party, awesome.
Yeah, so you're a pretty huge Star Wars fan then, huh?
Yeah, you could say.
So what did you think of the Mandalorian?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I know. Well, I don't have Disney Plus, and so I think the move is sign up for the 3 week and then just marathon.
Hey, there you go. You can binge it.
Don't tell anyone I said it.
Right? Don't worry, Simone. Look, plenty
No,
of
but
it.
it does sound like Disney Plus is gonna throw down some good stuff. So
They got some good MCU stuff coming down the pipe, so it is worth getting.
yeah, you've seen you binged all of Mandalorian?
Yeah. We did some reviews and stuff on it, and overall, I thought it was done pretty well. It has a really good classic Star Wars feel to it. Definitely different tone, different feel than the newer movies.
Do you see yourself auditioning for Star Wars, Simone? In the future?
I see it. Oh, I see it.
Oh yeah, I can just catch.
Do I see myself cast? Oh yes.
I see that twinkle in her eyes. She's just like, "Yep, I get that Star Wars opportunity. I'm throwing my name in that hat."
Hot.
This is
Oh,
fabulous.
that is awesome.
HAWT.
That is so awesome.
That was a lot of fun. That one. Yeah, vintage Batgirl.
So is this a convention? Is this a birthday? Is this a party, or what is this?
This was my birthday.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah. It was awesome. That was a lot of fun. We had tons of friends come out. Yeah, it was just crazy. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really like that costume.
A lot of the guys really liked that one.
Gee, I wonder why.
That one really resonated with the dudes for some reason. Even though I wouldn't assume that they were raised on vintage Batgirl, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm old enough to have seen it.
Oh.
now this one is going to blow your mind, guys.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Gorgeous. Really good job.
Gorgeous. I don't know that gorgeous is the word, but thank you.
No, I mean
Wow.
I don't mean gorgeous like I mean in as far as craft goes, because the facial hair and stuff. I saw this picture before actually, and I was just like, wow, she really nailed it. Like craft. Like this is next level stuff. I was pretty impressed. That's what I mean by gorgeous.
It's true that I did craft this one. Like most of the ones that you've seen are ones that I kind of purchase online, but this is truly like I made the headband. I really caught the fly with chopsticks. No, I'm just kidding. It's a fake fly. I think I went to the Goodwill to get the outfit. But this was interesting. So this was one of the first Halloweens where I didn't dress sexy. And it was inspired by a girlfriend I had who one year went as Mr. T. And I thought it was so hilarious that this white girl who was short dressed like Mr. T and had the voice and the whole thing, that every time I was partying with her, I just could not stop laughing. And so I was like, oh, I got to try that and do a guy one. And so I picked Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid. And I dyed the facial hair and did the whole thing. And I practiced the voice, and I kind of like bandaged my chest so I was flatter. And I had kind of man pants on, and everything about it, I just completely transformed, as you should when you do costumes. You transform into the character, and I'd really studied Mr. Miyagi.
Hey, the detail is spot on.
I end up at this house party, and I'm at one point in a circle of people talking, primarily men with a couple women there. And it becomes quite apparent to me that everyone actually thinks I am a dude. And that I'm a young, kind of
really
handsome dude. And if you look at me there, you could kind of go, yeah, that could be a dude.
Mm-hmm.
You look very boyish. Yeah, it's well done.
Look at her popped shoulder. Like, look at how her shoulders popped. Like, I'm serious. Yeah, like you got this character.
Like a guy, which is weird. And I think maybe because I had an older brother, I don't know, I'm kind of tomboyish, whatever. But it terrified me. I did not like it because I felt like everyone treated me so differently when I was a guy. And like even like the men, like the kind of like punch arm kind of thing or like whatever. I was like, oh I wasn't really used to that kind of grown up.
Oh, nobody gave you the 2 for flinching.
No. But it was after that costume, as successful as the photo is, that I vowed, I'm like, I'm never doing that again. Sexy costumes only.
Cobra Kai producers, if you're seeing this, this deserves an audition. I mean, just for seeing this.
It is.
So this is kind of like my Milan, right?
Yeah. Cosplay.
It is pretty good. I mean, I believe it. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, Simone, like a lot of the stuff that I cover for my publication as well is, I'm a resident gaming journalist. I know you have a bit of a background doing some, video games. And what I wanted to ask you is what are some of the differences in mediums going from, an actual like movie or television series to, acting in a video game? What are the differences?
It depends on how the video game is being filmed.
Okay.
So I was very fortunate. My first video game was a major franchise, Need for Speed, and I was in 2005 version of Need for Speed Most Wanted. And it was the way that they filmed that was very different than any other video game typically you see, in that they used cinematics, and they filmed us as real actors doing the scenes, but with practical sets on green screen, and then would superimpose us into this digital world that had been created. And I just caught a bit of the most recent interview with Habib Zargarpur, who was our kind of mastermind behind that technology. It was right around, and I think he was not sure if, I think we came before Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, but what he wanted to do was, he said that he wanted to create cinematics that looked CG like us, even though we weren't CG, we really were real people. And he was like, okay, well, what are the things that identify people as CG? Okay, well, it's the lack of wrinkles in the forehead, the wrinkles on the clothes, things like that. So they did all of these wardrobe and hair tests where they're like, okay, look at this arm. It's like super wrinkly in the shirt. Okay, so what if we literally dip the clothes in glue so that they're stiff? And so I have to watch the full interview because I didn't have enough time. It just came out. But they dipped a pair of jeans in glue, and apparently they could just like stand them up on the floor. And when I was being filmed, like my hair had to be super like perfectly coiffed and no flyaways. Everything was like hairsprayed like crazy, and all the clothes were very tight. Not that I was wearing that much. I kind of was in a half top as a cop, but anyway. So the other way which I have filmed is, and this was really sad because I got the lead of a major. It's hard because I'm NDA'd, even though that ship has totally sailed now. But I got the lead of one of the biggest franchise video games, and we went through the motion or performance capture.
Yeah, you did like
So
the motion
capture
cap.
is different than motion capture.
Oh, okay.
Motion capture is more like you're not going to see the actual person, but performance capture in this way, you would actually see me in this character.
So were you scanned, Simone? Yeah.
What's that?
So were you scanned?
Yeah, and it's a whole process where, you know, they make a 3D of you, you stand on this pedestal, and they slowly turn it, and you have to stand super, super still, and they're just scanning. And so it's like they're taking like tons and tons of footage of you, and then you do all of these like physical, like bend your arm, do these kind of things, like punch, and it's like kind of like you'd see in a video game when you're practicing your character, like you start to do that. And then they would do all this stuff with the mouth, and they would have all of these words you had to say, because they have it all down to a science of how many ways our mouth can move, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You have to say all of these words, and then I would have to like jump off of a thing or lunge, or like it's really cool, that whole process. And that's not even acting, like that's just like basically imprinting you as the character, so that the people can kind of manipulate that. So what happened with this video game, it was so great. It was like the director from one of the huge directors from Grand Theft Auto and one of these huge people from Japan, and they were both supposed to direct it, and I was the thing. It was mega. And we went through the scanning process, and then the following year we'd start doing the acting. So it was like an amazing gig for me. It was the first gig I ever booked in Los Angeles. And it was huge. I was like, this is going to be monster. And what happened was, and I've also never told this story before. I can't say, I want to say what it is because it's already like the version of it is already out. They abandoned the whole script and concept that we had, because they kept saying, you guys, you're still cast. We're just having script problems, and we're going to push for a few more months. And it became a year. I was like, and then I'd be like, are we still doing this? Because like I'm really excited about this. Yep, we're totally still doing it. And another year would go by, and by the third year, it was like, I don't think this is good.
Yeah, you kind of knew that the ship probably sailed on the project.
And then like, a few years later, it was like, oh yeah, this thing in a whole other package has been done. So none of us worked on it.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Yeah, it was so big, and I was so excited to tell the world. It would have been maybe even bigger. But it was like one of the biggest franchises.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of, a lot more video game inspired entertainment coming. I know even for like somebody like you take a big sci-fi game like Halo, and they're producing, I know a TV show on Showtime for Halo. So a lot of video game inspired stuff is starting to come out into, the television and movie sphere. So the worlds are bleeding together.
They are.
I remember years and years ago, someone had said they were talking to Spielberg, and Spielberg had said, the future is not in movies, the future is in video games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Twitch happening and people, gamers making tons of money. It's just like, wow.
Oh yeah, if the funny thing is, if you want to just have your jaw hit the floor one of these days look up what the top Twitch streamers make. You can be like, what?
I need to start my Twitch.
There you go.
Are you going to start one?
I actually I have people that want me to do it, and I think my format though would be different. I don't know that I would play video games. I think it would be more of like my own show.
No, hey, there you go.
Yes, yeah, I have a really great network of people also that happen to be famous as well. So you know, it's all cool to.
Twitch is also has also like expanded upon just games. There's like a lot of different categories now. You know, they have a just chatting section. They have a section for talk shows. So you know, it's basically whatever concept you can come up with. You know, you can.
I think that's more my jam. Is that.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see you do a channel for people who are born on Halloween. And it would just be cool to have this running log of all of your cosplay, because, you know, you're stuck between Halloween and cosplay. And so you're doing all this really super elevated Halloween stuff. Wouldn't it just be totally cool if people could land there and just see your journey through all of your amazing birthdays and what you come up with and what you do, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good birthday, Simone, because my mom was born on Halloween.
Yeah, there are a lot of people born on Halloween, and they love it. They just love it.
So the Luigi beside me is actually a Stargate alum, Sharon Taylor. So she's one of my best friends.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I popped her out because I wasn't sure if I'd have permission to show her. As
Okay, yeah.
But because she is wearing a mustache. But yeah, that was her and I at my birthday.
Oh, wow.
You look good as a redhead. Is that a
Jessica
wig?
Rabbit.
Well, yeah, that's just.
That's Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, you look good.
Yeah, that is a wig. Yeah, and I even made my eyebrows red for that.
You look good.
Yeah, you look amazing.
Yeah, very beautiful, very sexy.
I always love my sequins.
And you weren't catching flies with chopsticks. There'll be no more of that.
No. No more being mistook for a man.
Yeah. You really do look absolutely beautiful here. Very stunning. Very nice job.
Thanks.
Simone, Elihu asks, are you, because of your necklace, are you a fan of The Flash or are you a daughter of Zeus, says Elihu?
Neither. I'm obsessed, and I always have been with lightning bolts, and I'm especially obsessed with the S, like.
Oh, wow.
Or Simone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
I know.
This is another one that's going to blow.
Everyone always is like, "Oh, lightning bolts, Harry Potter." Well, okay.
You're like, no.
See, PJ was like the Flash.
Nothing against Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter.
No, but
Now, this is another cosplay that you've done very well, crossing the gender line. I'm just going to let you guys see who this is. It seems like a chaplain to me.
Oh, how dare you!
That's Clockwork Orange
Are
all
you
the way.
kidding me?
Oh, really?
yeah,
That's Clockwork Orange, bro.
yeah, that's Clockwork
All the
Orange.
way.
So
Because
that
there's another picture, and I thought it was a Charlie Chaplin.
That
interpretation.
is like the best Clockwork Orange cosplay ever.
You're looking fierce.
I bow to that cosplay. Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
you're looking fierce.
You inhabit Alex DeLarge in that kind of version. You have to be embracing the.
I see.
That is so good. That's my favorite so far.
It doesn't even look like her,
My favorite.
does it? You don't see Simone there. All you see is the character. She nailed it. Look at how fierce. Look at the look at her
Oh,
face.
yeah.
She could eat you.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Did that year. I probably did. No, that was a fun year because that was one of my first Halloweens in LA, and and I went to Santa Monica Boulevard, and here for Halloween they basically shut down a big portion of the street, and everyone comes out, and you just see a parade of the best costumes, group costumes, everything. And I went out as Alex DeLarge, and I saw so many other droogies on the street, not quite in the same getup as me, but you know, they were more classic, and it was really fun. I got a lot of great photos that night, and then I went to a few parties because, like I say, for Halloween, for my birthday, I always go to like tons of different parties. You know,
I'm surprised somebody hasn't come to you, Simone, and they're like, "Oh, you should do Katana from Mortal Kombat."
As cosplay or like
as cosplay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I wonder if I have a photo. Well, there's one on my IG. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if you can see it.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
There's that.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun. I'd love to do Chun-Li.
Oh yeah, you do. Oh, you would do a killer Chun-Li too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you want to show that again, Simone?
Oh,
I'll put you up.
Here we go.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's so badass.
Yeah, that is awesome.
This was this most recent Halloween.
Yeah, you can do a really killer Chun-Li, Simone. I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's lots. I mean, you know, thank God it comes every year because I can keep.
You know what? They need a new Street Fighter movie. They have their Chun-Li right here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, dress up.
Oh, dress up. So what are you working on right now? You know, usually when you get in
so crazy.
What?
I am supposed, well, I'm not, but I'm supposed to be a lead of a feature film, but a documentary.
Right.
Me going back to my homeland in, like my ancestors' homeland in China.
Yeah.
My mom's Chinese. And we were scheduled to go to China, and they're going to fly my family and I back and go back to, you know, where my mom grew up and her village and all this, and kind of like trace the ancestors. And then, of course, coronavirus strikes, and we're all like, I don't know if it's a good idea. And even the people that are Chinese that wanted to do the film, they're like, you know what? We don't want to go either. So let's just push, and we will do it next year.
Yeah.
So that was something that I had on my schedule for this year, but now it's pushed, and that's fine. You know, always better to have more time than not enough.
Do you work with any charities?
Yeah, I do quite a lot all over. So I currently give to Red Cross, and then the convention that I'm going to do in Vancouver, Canada, called GateCon, which is coming up, and there's still tickets, so if people want to come and meet all the Stargate actors. There's like 30 different guests.
When is it, Simone?
So GateCon is August 28th to the 30th this summer. And I believe the site is gatecon.com. And yeah, so every year they give to a different charity. And this year is Make-A-Wish Foundation. In the past, when I had gone, it was a couple years ago, we raised over $35,000 for cystic fibrosis.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's like a really good amount. I also gave to a charity called Project Limelight, which is out of Vancouver, and they give money to children for children's programming for the arts.
Yep.
We raised over $15,000 for that, so that's fantastic. I've worked with Clean Water for Haiti.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, really important, like water, clean water. And then I do, you know, I help when I can. I mean, it really depends on what's going on. But I had a friend, you know, there were a lot of fires in California. Well,
there were, yeah.
She had this beautiful teepee, and she was doing like sound healing and all this kind of stuff. Her whole business of course, was uninsured, and she lost everything, and so she had a GoFundMe. So there's like that kind of charity too. I also donate to Goodwill, and I think the last time I gave 8 bags of clothes and shoes, and then I even like around Christmas time when I can, like I gave 2 bags full of groceries and toiletries, and I give it directly to a homeless person.
Yeah.
And so it's like those kind of gestures where you can actually see someone receive it and the look on their face. And another good
That's great.
thing I do, a habit, which isn't a charity, but it's just a good deed, is, and I think we could all kind of stand to do this, is when we go to restaurants and you have leftovers, whether you want to eat the food or not, get it to go, and then at least leave it somewhere for someone to find it, or directly give it to someone on the street.
Yeah. So everybody in Vancouver, everybody watching in Vancouver, please, when you come and see Simone, remember Vancouver food banks. This is something that is meaningful for her. She cares about it. So if you're going to come and see Simone and the gang, please make sure you bring canned goods, because Vancouver food banks will be there, because Simone is awesome. Yeah. So do that. If you want to bring her a present, don't bring her anything. Bring a can of peaches.
We're not collecting for the food bank for the convention. We're helping.
Oh, really? We do here. We totally do here.
Oh no, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
The convention I'm talking about, we're giving to Make-A-Wish for that.
Yeah. But this thing coming up in Vancouver, though, right? They'll have a gate for that? I hope so. We do that in Edmonton and Calgary. We have a food bank gate here. So if you want to come in, first thing you can do is just drop off a few cans of food.
Yeah.
Kind of cool, hey? So I have another question.
That is cool.
Did you keep your New Year's resolution? Did you have one, and did you keep it?
It's a progressive one. So I think in my earlier years, it was more about like, what can I accumulate? And now I'm at a point where I'm starting to, and I think it was like my years of yoga too, is practice detachment and try to simplify my life. Part of that is part and parcel with donating to Goodwill and donating, like taking an inventory of my closet and everything, like even in your kitchen. Like, what am I using? What can I maybe, give or sell or, whatever to somebody else?
Share.
Yeah. So that's an ongoing thing. So I'm trying to focus on creating healthy habits for myself, which I've done in the past, but it's just always constantly reminding myself of that. And then, I don't know, try to be more conscious about stuff.
Very cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Stogie in the chat who works with Axonar, and he works with Paul Jenkins, one of the men who saved Marvel Comics from bankruptcy, says he'd volunteer to help you with your channel when you start your Twitch channel. So.
Oh, sweet.
I'm also a former Twitch streamer, 3 years. I'm experienced. So you have any questions, I got you back.
All right.
Simone, I don't want to keep you indefinitely because I know we've already had the privilege of having you for a long time. I don't know. Are you good for another 10 minutes or do you need to go?
I'm good for another 10. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thanks,
Anything really important, Drew or Raquel, that you wanted to ask before we while we still have her here, while we still have Simone here?
Yeah. So, Simone, what do you feel like in the near future of the prospects of Stargate in general making a comeback, either on a streaming service or for a network deal? Because I know that they're really trying to effort to get that going right now. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts on it. I think it's fantastic. And I know the fans absolutely, I get contacted by people internationally, the entire globe, that that love the show are pretty much thumbs up for a new canonized series. So honoring the lore and kind of continuing the story, I think, is a fantastic idea. And I think that I'm in a really fantastic position, and I've had a couple people high up kind of reach out to me. I won't really kind of go into detail, but I think what's great is I'm in a very good position because my character is still alive, and I am one of the female Jaffa. So,
and you're currently brainwashed.
Yeah.
And you're currently brainwashed.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
No?
No, because in the end, there is a line like Amanda Tapping.
She said you were going for therapy, or you were going to be cured, or.
No, she does have a line where she says to I don't know if it's Daniel or no, she says to Mitchell, I think, on a bench. She's like, she kind of catches him up on what happened, and they're like, oh yeah, Kal-El told, gave the intel that they landed on a pyramid, and that's where they're holding Teal, because like Teal got kidnapped in that episode. So I believe that she did get out of the brainwash.
I hope so.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
Simone, we interviewed Corin Nemec not too long ago. Are you guys friends?
He's the greatest. I wish we were closer, but we partied a lot at the at GateCon, the last GateCon. He's just awesome. Like, it's so cool that he's done as many roles as he has, and he's also someone who really hasn't really aged. And he's so nice, and he reached out to me when because I guess he spends most of his time in Texas. He's in Austin or something. Yeah, and then he reached out when he had a Hollywood premiere, and he's like, Simone, you should come. And so I did, and that was for Rotten Tail. So I got to be on the red carpet with him, and his gang there. Yeah. Yeah. So I'd like to say that we're friends.
I'm sure he would say. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Often, but like it's always a pleasure when I do get it.
Yeah. Were you a Parker Lewis fan when you were younger?
I think I saw a bit of it. I don't think that
You're too young for that.
Yeah, I don't know that I watched that, but I'm aware of what that is. Yes.
By the way, just because I got several pictures from our Canadian colleague in the top right-hand corner this week. I'm just going to share one with Simone to see what she thinks of one of Raquel's cosplays.
Whoa, that's great! You even got the ear. That's just the hint of an ear. That's nice.
Raquel is like so good.
That's a great.
She's amazing.
Did that all yourself, or did you have like a makeup artist help you, or?
I'm a makeup artist.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, I was many years ago.
Great skill.
Yeah.
You look fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Are you a Trekkie, Simone?
I wouldn't say I'm not a Trekkie, but I wouldn't say that I am. I really loved the old school Star Trek, and I thought it was a lot of fun.
You're a TOS. You're a TOS girl, aren't you?
Yes, baby. Yes. Yes, baby. Yes.
I'm one of those strange people too. Like even when it comes to Batman, I like old school Batman, which I know is not popular opinion, but I love like
Adam West. Yeah.
But the throwbacks are fun.
Not that old school Batman.
Oh.
I'm talking about movies, like
okay.
Keaton,
like Jack Nicholson Joker, like that. I love that kind of stuff. But anyway, in regards to Star Trek, I thought it was really smart because, I'm kind of a hippie-hearted individual that was, raised with Buddhist influences, and I like the kind of spirituality there, and just the kindness and the tone of it. I think is really cool, and I also thought it was a lot of fun and inventive, and
yeah,
I also like those kind of like sexy,
the
are always fun.
What a beautiful thing to say, though. What a beautiful thing to say, I love the tone of it. With your hands like this. You're pretty awesome, Simone. What a great thing to say. But no, it's true, right? Because of what it offered the world. So I just really, really nice description.
I really loved the whale episode.
No,
the film.
That was
that the film? Okay.
Yeah, that was.
All you guys are going like, oh no.
That was a film. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very good. But it always had that the allure of Star Trek was always that hopeful tone. That there was always, that.
I think you got it right there. Hope.
Exactly. It was, a celebration of hope and the spirit of humanity. So that's what was always good about Star Trek. Star Wars has that nice fantasy aspect that pulls you in, and it's fantastical and everything, but Star Trek always had that hopeful.
Well, to me though, Star Wars is about good versus evil.
Yeah.
And choosing to be good, which I think is a really integral value.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I hope so.
I think, that's kind of the fault of a lot of things going on in the world today is people not choosing good.
Simone, are we ever going to see you behind the camera directing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to do more directing. I think what I have to do is write a short and then film a short. But I've been doing already some filming for DJs, and I did a music video for a hip hop group in Vancouver. So those are kind of like my baby steps getting in. But to me, it's a very natural, like kind of lateral move since I've been in the film biz so long. I mean, I'm coming up on 19 years of professionally being in film. So
have you ever taken a stab at just like kicking back and writing like a short story or novel, Simone?
My parents always say I'm a great writer.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice of them to say. And I used to do a lot of creative writing, and even when I was younger, I was really into beat poetry for a minute. And I used to help write, kind of ghostwrite on a lot of short films that kind of crew I was in Vancouver we would do, and then we would just film guerrilla style. And we, would do the circuit and win awards for our stuff. And I like that aspect because I would wear tons of hats. So I would be doing casting and wardrobe and learning how to actually produce a film. What are all the key components you need? What is the most efficient way to execute? All of those things. And I think you learn a lot even going through theater, breaking down the props list and the costumes and like all the things. So then how it moves and how to be efficient with time. So I feel like my whole life is all of these tools I've learned, and then you can just kind of put it into the next thing.
Is there anything you want to do outside of showbiz?
Yes. So this year, I want to start a clothing line and also sell some art, and I'm hoping to have that available by the summer, maybe earlier, we'll see.
Your own art?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
What's your vision for clothing? What's your vision for clothing?
I don't want to say quite yet because I don't.
Okay. All right.
Well, when you get it out there, Simone, and you get things out on in the Twitter sphere and on social media, we'll definitely get your back and retweet you and get the word out as well. Because you're just so awesome, awesome. So thank you so much for your time. I mean, you've just been amazing. This has been, in my personal estimation, the most fun interview I've had yet with anyone.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
And I have to agree with you. Absolutely, Drew. I do want to take a chat. If we can take a question from the chat, Simone. Gap Stargate asks, you've played so many memorable female roles. What's your most memorable role, and I'm not sure if Raquel asked this, but what is your most memorable role for yourself?
For me, not
For you, yeah.
Man, that's so tough. Every single one is different. And every single role I've ever had, I'm always like pushing the corners on what I can do, and where I can take a character.
And he also asked, is there a strong female role that you would like to play in the future that you have I've heard people on the internet say you should have been Wonder Woman.
Yeah. And there was actually a Twitter handle. I think it was like SB or WW or something like that, like Simone Bailey for Wonder Woman, which was really nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I actually I went out on a very vague audition, and that, like, when they don't tell you what it's for and you have to sign, like, it's big. And I was pretty sure I auditioned for Wonder Woman, and I think it was for the movie.
Wow.
Not Wonder Woman, but it was a Justice League like group thing.
Wow. Well, you totally have that look. Absolutely.
You do.
Honestly, people have been telling me that I remind them of Wonder Woman my whole life. It's really weird because, like, I don't have blue eyes or anything, but it's nice that they would say that. But I used to wear, like, Wonder Woman underoos when I was a little girl. In nap time at play school, I would chase, when I was supposed to be napping, I would chase all the boys around with my lasso of truth.
Your truth rope, yeah.
Okay, so getting back to the question. Oh, geez, that's a really tough one. What was the question? Like, how was it phrased?
What was your most memorable role as a strong female role? As a strong female woman, what was your most memorable strong female role you played?
So tough.
And that comes from Stargate, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Or Gapgate.
Let's say Stargate. Let's say Kal-El. It's such a tough question because there's so many levels of power. There's stature power. There's warrior power. And on and on it goes. And I feel like I've had so many different characters that are pretty strong. And I think also maybe it's because my voice is a bit lower, and I kind of don't get into like the parts that go like that. So I end up kind of playing more kind of grounded, hold your own characters more often than not. And also I found it's tough sometimes for me to play real victim-y roles. Like I don't really gravitate towards that anyway. But playing Kal-El was really awesome, and I think it was a big deal for me as an actress to be on the High Council and not know that Simone didn't know that she would be doing so many episodes with Stargate over those seasons. When I first got cast, I really did think it was a one episode part. And it's always a huge pleasure when a show keeps wanting me back.
Yeah. And the fact that your character grew so much.
Yeah.
And it was
just basically ruling my people.
Yeah. And
so much.
and I really liked that happened for you. Like, I was getting excited for you. You're just more and more lines, and I got to see more and more of how you saw this character and all the things you got to do. So I think it's really cool that you just answered that from the chat, because that gives so many of us Gators such a hope for what they're going to do with you if this all happens, what they're going to do with you in the future. Yes, when? Because
when.
you're like, you're going to be a force to be reckoned with. You're going to be bigger than Wonder Woman. For the Jaffa.
With Kal-El, we didn't get an opportunity to see her do any type of comedic things or tons of action or anything like that. And so I think there's lots of playroom there. Yeah.
More growth. Like it's just like this character just keeps growing. And so, yeah, we're really proud of you. And you're nailed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simone's definitely going to be in that 2025 Stargate movie.
Oh, wow. Incredible. Okay, good.
We're just projecting here. We're just projecting.
I love this. I love these projections.
Hashtag Simone 2025.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Simone, thank you so much and if it were up to us, we'd have you here for 3 hours. But we want to say we're so thankful for your time and you're being so open with us.
Yeah, you're a very gracious person, Simone, and a remarkable woman. Thank you so much.
Canada is so proud of you, baby. You're gorgeous. You're brilliant. You're rocking it, baby. Rock LA.
Simone, do you want to add anything? Did you want to talk about Meet for Speak? Did you want to promote or plug anything before we sign off?
Well, if anyone viewing is new to me and you want to follow me, I do have a website, www.simonebailey.com, spelled
I will post that.
SIMONEBAILLY.com. And you will find links to tons of stuff. I've got videos up there, and you can find my links to my Twitter, my Instagram, all the things, YouTube channel, all that, so we can stay connected. And yeah, please, if you would love an awesome vacation in Vancouver, Canada, where I am from, please come to GateCon. August 28th to 30th. There's still tickets available on gatecon.com, and it is so much fun. They do like a film tour to all the like Stargate locations where they film, because that's where Stargate was filmed, was Vancouver. And then
And donate to Simone's causes because she wants you to. Be good, everyone.
I'll just be a good person.
Yes.
That's the most important.
Yes.
I will put all that stuff in the video for people watching the replay.
Yeah.
And Elihu sends his love for an excuse for please excuse him for his Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Thank you so much again.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time and thank you for sharing. You're great. You're wonderful.
Thank you, Simone.
Big hugs.
Hugs.
Bye, guys. Thank you, Epic Beard. Thank you, Gabe Gat. Thank you, Aaron Hall.
Thank you
everybody
everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. Much love.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh.